Hi, I'm Hans Wilhelm. This video explains our conscious, our subconscious and our spirit conscious mind from the spiritual perspective, which is slightly different than what we learn in college. It also shows us how we can use them to our advantage on our path to higher consciousness and overcoming old habit patterns.
Our mind is made up of three components. The first one is our conscious mind. Our conscious mind makes us aware of ourselves and our surrounding via our five senses. It is also the analytical part of our mind with all the intellectual thought processes. It can process only one thought at a time, but it can make choices in our life, and therefore we can reprogram old behavior patterns and change our thoughts, our attitudes and habits, and with that our fate and future. The next one is our subconscious mind, which records pictorially every activity that we are engaged in and what we think about these activities and experiences. Yes, all our thoughts, words and actions, the good ones and the bad ones, like traumatic events. It also stores programs that we have downloaded in our present incarnation before we turned 7 years old, from our family, religions, community, surroundings. We absorbed their beliefs, their prejudices, judgments, their fears and worries and made them our own. Remember the famous Jesuit saying, "Give me the child until he is 7 and I will give you the man." Unfortunately, most of us never questioned these downloaded programs which were never ours, but they are all in here. Our subconscious is not the same as our soul, but it is connected to our soul, which registers every sensation, thoughts and words. The same is in the planetary constellation of the material and immaterial cosmos. By the way, the subconscious also takes care of all the life functions of our body, like our heartbeat and much more. They are expressed through the nervous system to the organs. It is interesting to note that each component of our body, like every organ, every blood vessel, also has a conscious, subconscious and spirit conscious mind. Our organism and all the functions of our body are in constant communication with our brain, the conscious and subconscious mind. And storing is constantly taking place, being imprinted in our body through our feelings, sensing, thinking, speaking and acting. This brings us to our spirit conscious or superconscious mind. That is limitless and infinite in nature. It is eternally pure. It is the core of being. It is the Spirit of God in us. It is the life. It is our true eternal reality. Via our spirit conscious, we can see the underlying unity of all things. It wants to set us free. Therefore, this spirit conscious is our helper, admonisher and leader in us. Now let's look at some typical examples of how this all works together. For instance, here in our conscious mind, which is also called the personality mind, we are storing pictorially how we want to present ourselves to the world, who we think we are. It is our illusionary world, what we think makes us so special, our illusionary personal identity. Like this guy here saying, "Look everybody, how cool I am." Why is he doing this? Why does he feel he needs to pretend and show off? Maybe even with lies, cheating, or by consciously hurting others. It may have come from a sensation of feeling of inferiority from an event, a memory, a program or belief that he has stored in his subconscious, because the subconscious is never fooled by our illusionary world of how cool we are or how noble and good we think we are. It has stored exactly without any influence in honest pictures what we may want to hide from others and ourselves, like our impure impulses, feelings, claims and ambitions. The subconscious is incorruptible. It does not deceive itself when it reflects back to us our all too human aspects and memories from the past. Like, for instance, a traumatic experience from our childhood, which is still not resolved and causes this guy over here to pretend to be so very cool. And here is where our conscience comes in. Some compare it to a scale, where on one side are our feelings and emotions of the subconscious and soul, and on the other side are the laws of the universe placed there by the super or spirit conscious mind, the core of being, the Spirit of God. We can also call it the cosmic love. This will hopefully prompt us to find out why we have the feeling or emotion. For instance, why do we wish to present ourselves as so cool? What needs to be cleared up, forgiven, or given over to divinity to convert into positive energy? The feeling of discomfort is our opportunity to use this impulse and clear up our past issues or programs. But it becomes problematic when we do not explore and follow our conscience and don't want to look at ourselves. Then we block the scale of our conscience, and it begins to work exclusively for our subconscious mind, where this particular aspect in our life begins to slowly fill up and overflow. It becomes autonomous and then rules our life and our fate. Carl Jung was right when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Here is an example. Because of some unresolved negative experience in the past, we have adopted the habit of overeating as a form of compensation or protection. One day, we finally decide to diet and not eat our daily extra double portion of ice cream. But if the program in our subconscious has not been cleared up, the subconscious will keep pushing all our good intentions aside here in our conscious mind, and repeatedly remind us that we simply need the extra portion of ice cream. And so we run back to the refrigerator over and over again. Our subconscious has successfully sabotaged our best intentions, as it increasingly rules our habits and life if we don't clear it up. That is the reason Gabriele calls our subconscious mind a killer, because it can kill our best intentions. We can observe this with many people who desperately want to drop their negative habits, but seem to be unable to do so. Their subconscious has taken over and rules them. Therefore, it is so important to question the initial symptoms, the first disturbances that our conscience gives us, and by recognizing the wrong attitudes, clearing them up with the help and support of the inner helper and advisor, the Christ of God, and let go with what clings to us. This way, we free or empty that aspect in our subconscious.
This is just a brief introduction to a chapter in the book The True School is Life, Volume 1 by Gabriele, which goes much deeper into this subject, like how to reprogram our brain cells, as well as mobilizing the self-healing forces in our body. It also speaks of how we train our brain to increase retentiveness and also improve memory. The book is filled with transcripts of teaching hours that were given by Gabriele over the years. For more information, please click on the link which I put beneath this video. Please subscribe and we'll meet again in my next video.